Hey, hey, Natsu here. Today, coming in for the fourth day in a row with a new what if. There's a lot that are going to come in the next 2 months, basically so that I don't have, no, basically so that I can just kind of do the one I want that day, since I do script anyway for every what ifs, at least 2 or 3 scripts in advance until I'm done with it. So today, what I want to do is a what if that I waited for a while to do. It is what if Deku had the same capacities as Garou from One Punch Man. Basically, what he has are, well, basically like Zenkai boosts. He every time he fights, he grows extremely strong. Well, stronger afterward. The closer he is to death, the better. He has the capacity to see movements, attacks, combat style, and other stuff like that. He can just see them once and be able to replicate them perfectly. So, he will have that. One last thing he has is, well, he has the capacity to regenerate, which isn't really said that much, but being able to basically got multiple broken in multiple times, and after like hours or so, his bones were fully healed, or he was able to move as if they were perfectly fine. So Deku's going to have a healing that basically his bones can heal pretty fast. He will have way later a monster form from being attacked extremely, having a huge amount of damage done to him. So yeah. One last thing that Deku will have is, a pretty good intelligence. He already has a pretty good natural intelligence, because we are talking about Deku. But his will be a little higher, and he will be able to think a lot more about what he or others can do when looking at powers. Just knowing what someone is actually capable of doing. Garou can basically just find a way to fight against them, or to use their powers against each other. So Deku will have that as well. Proof of that is in one of the last episode of season 2. Don't remember which one. He looked out of where he was hiding. There were 6 or 7 A-class heroes that, for all of them, he didn't really know that much about. He read about them once and knew exactly how he would defeat them. It didn't go as planned, but he still was able to. Which is basically even more proof that he learns while fighting. Even after that, he used the way of fighting of Watchdog Man, which he moves on all 4 and is extremely fast and strong. Garou saw that once, and not really for that long either. But the moment he needed it, he was able to replicate it perfectly, without any problem using the way of fighting or moving. Which means that since Deku will be able to do that, yes, he will need the strength to be able to do them, but it still means he's going to be able to learn pretty fast both on how to fight and actually how to use moves. So in total, what Deku has is extremely good visual memory, muscle memory, um, movement replication after he saw them at least, well, only once. A regeneration that can basically fix all of his bones in hours, which is pretty freaking big. That he'll get it later though. Because basically over time his healing got better, his strength got better, his speed and everything like that. So at first it's only going to start with a small boost. Not that big, because yeah, he literally had that hole punched in him at one point, and like the next time we saw him, it was completely healed, both in the manga and in the comic of one, which means he can heal pretty fast since that was in a single day. I didn't read everything on that. I just looked for everything on Garou's power, and I know he was able to do that, which is freaking impressive. So after that, he'll basically have Zenkai boost as well, and that's basically his quirk actually. But physically, they say that basically the way it works is kind of like Garou. He's a normal human, but that for some reason has that. So Deku will be born with the bone, but still having all of that ability, which basically that's going to be explained later. So let's start. Basically, all of his childhood, Deku was, well, stronger than most kid. Sometime he was watching movies with fight scene and stuff like that, and was interested by them, and basically, just after seeing them, tried to replicate the moves, and was basically able to replicate them perfectly. Both Inko and Hisashi thought, okay, so he has that. That's probably his quirk, or something like that. So basically, they went before the age that they normally go to check, because Deku's able to replicate any move that he saw once perfectly. So the doctors basically looked at him and then made X-rays, and basically said, "I'm sorry to say, but he won't have a quirk. He has the bone still in his foot, which means that he didn't get the same evolution." Which then Inko basically re-explained that Deku is able to replicate any move, well, fighting move, or even anything else, basically, just after watching it once. So at this age, if he's like 3, which is pretty young, so, and about a year earlier than what they they normally would go. But the doctors basically says that some people have natural capacity to do that. Just visually, they're able to do that. Normally, it doesn't come out that young, and normally they have trouble using it while just having it. So They basically tell them that he just has something that other human can have, just that he has it at an extremely young age, and a lot better than some others. But then look at him and tell him that they are sorry that he won't get a quirk still. Which Deku's basically start to get sad a bit, because next year he's going to start in kindergarten and he's going to have to say that he's quirkless. But this Deku doesn't give up. It's basically, since he's like Garou, he has, well, the determination of never giving up, no matter what. Hell, Garou at one point was literally on the verge of death, and he was still able to literally tank many bullets and just push them away with his bare hands, which is pretty freaking badass, to be honest. So this Deku doesn't give up and decide that he was going to train to be a hero anyway. Because if he can't use a quirk to do it, he's going to do it himself with pure strength. Which Inko, basically seeing how what he was doing, basically just leave him do it, because at least he wasn't sad or depressed or stuff like that, so she kind of left him with that. So the next year, kindergarten and Bakugo, they basically present themselves, and Deku basically says, when presenting himself, that he is quirkless, but will be one of the best heroes there is. And nobody will be able to stop him. Every other kid basically knowing that, oh yeah, you need a quirk to be a hero, basically just started laughing at him, which made Deku even more ferocious in his attempt to actually become the best hero. This Deku will not have one for all, because he wants to do everything himself. All Might will present him with the possibility, but Deku will say no. So, basically after that, for a while, everyone was still laughing at him, bullying him a bit, but he was just training on his own. Later, Bakugo got his quirk. He started to bully Deku with his quirk, just because Deku was quirkless and was sure that he would still be able to become one of the best hero. So everyone was making fun of him, but Deku had something that was happening in his body. Every time Bakugo was, bullying him, hurting him. Okay, sorry for that. So yeah, something was happening in Deku, because Bakugo was hurting him. But Bakugo wasn't aware of what was happening in Deku. Over time, every time Bakugo hurted Deku, Deku was getting a bit stronger and a bit tougher. At first, because Bakugo was improving both in strength and with his quirk, it just seemed to make the exact same damage, which made Bakugo angry because he wanted to hurt Deku more, just kind of try to show him that a quirkless person will never be a hero, and just kept pushing. That helped Deku basically get better. until the point where it was someone else being bullied, like in the anime. When that happened, Deku decided to fight back this time, just like in the anime. But a big difference was there. Bakugo and the two others basically tried to attack Deku because he was defending someone. The kid basically thought they were going to get killed because of his stupidity. Until Deku actually started fighting. And Bakugo, both of the other kid, and the kid Deku was defending were amazed. Well, the kid behind Deku was amazed the most, while the other three were basically being kicked the hell out of them. Basically, Deku was looking at videos of different martial artists, basically trying to make his own fighting style to be able to, well, fight in his own way, which made him create the same style as what garou use, basically the style of Silver Fang, which is the flowing Okay, so his fighting style, he basically named it the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist. Later we'll evolve it in different things, as well as knowing stuff like Kung Fu, um, Karate. I think they're the same thing, just one in English, one in French, but basically he knows how to do kickboxing. He knows how to do boxing. He also looks at different heroes and their fighting style. But basically, he didn't look that much into those right now. Basically, the only one he did look at was mostly All Might, which Deku kind of tried to see how he would be able to use a punch and basically make a shockwave, and just thought that he needed to get stronger to do that. Which, yes, can be achieved with pure strength, shown in multiple anime. Basically, with enough speed, you can do that. Hell, One Punch Man himself does that. So, they kind of just, well, his mom mostly, see him just keep training and training and training over time. Basically, she heard of the fight, and she heard that Deku mopped the floor with those kids. Like, no joke. Bakugo was intimidating someone, and Deku basically mopped the floor with him and the two others that were with him, trying to beat up a single kid. She wasn't mad at Deku per se. Bakugo's mom, Mitsuki, also heard about this and was basically telling Deku sorry, while at the same time trying to make Bakugo apologize. Which basically made Bakugo kind of see that, damn, that was just training that he did. And my explosion didn't do that much to him. Because, yes, with his at the same time as getting stronger, faster, and blah blah blah, Garou gets resistance to stuff. Basically, at some point, he literally got hit with the full blast of Orochi, sending a massive fire breathing attack, which melted some rocks around. Well, not really melted, but destroyed rocks around Garou, and he was just there standing, so he can get resistance to both physical and other type of damage. Like he didn't harm him anymore, which means something. He can adapt to it. So yeah, Deku kind of is well, pretty much is just getting immunity to flame thanks to Bakugo's fighting urges. Also made Bakugo a bit more humble because, yeah, no, he got his ass handed to him by someone that he kept insulting, and he just realized that Deku could have done that at any point if he wanted to, but he didn't, so yeah. After that, Bakugo directly asked Deku to train him because he wanted to get stronger, as well as some other kids in school basically asking the same thing. And then just later, him accepting only Bakugo. After a while they became friends. Bakugo became a lot stronger. And over the years, basically, Deku just went from being strong and Bakugo being just a bit weaker than him, to Deku being extremely strong. Like, his physical strength is literally as if he had a super strength quirk. With both doctors, trainers, because at some point Enko basically put him in martial art classes, which he was passing extremely fast because, well, he just needs to see the move and, I can do it myself. So, basically, over time, he just kind of became extremely strong. And he also became a pretty respected martial artist. Basically, by the time he was 13, Deku was known throughout the community of martial arts and other stuff like that to be one of the people, well, who had the most knowledge in that. Like, he knows most of the natural, well, normal fighting style and even made his own. So, Bakugo training with Deku basically meant that both of them trained in martial arts. Bakugo learned how to use, well, fully these three more, water stream, rock breaking fist, as well as two other martial arts, because Deku basically made him learn one at a time, compared to what he was doing, because, well, I don't have a quirk, but I can do that. Which in reality, he does have a power, just not classed as a quirk. So yeah. So Bakugo is able to do, well, actually try to do like Deku, but instead of learning fully water stream breaking, rock breaking fists, he tried to do basically another way of fighting, which Deku helped him, which means Deku knows that one as well. And basically what it ended up being is basically Deku created Silver Fang's um, fighting style, and Bakugo tried to create another fighting style that kind of takes on the same way. That's actually the same fighting style as Silver Fang's brother. Be right back, I'm just going to go check the name. That one here, Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist. To be honest, this is basically the entire thing. I read it before, but it's still kind of hard to do. And I just basically wrote Bang's fighting style and Bomb's fighting style, so the names I still have to go looking for them. Basically, that was written like a month ago, so it's pretty hard to remember everything. This is what I was looking for. Basically, Deku knowing both fighting style, basically helping Bakugo create his own, instead of both of them having the same ones. Bakugo still knows about Water Stream Rock Breaking Fist. He knows both of them. Deku knows both of them as well. But if the two of them are together, they can do Whirlwind or Whirlwind, Water Stream Roaring, or a Sky Ripping Fist. Basically, the capacity to use both, well, both capacities at once, making an extremely great, well, basically, they were able to break the shell of Elder Centipede, which even Metal Bat wasn't even able to pierce, and that Geno didn't even have the strength to physically do anything, while being augmented to fight Garou. Which means that those two are pretty, well, stupidly strong by themselves, and have a fighting style that can, well, get to the point of breaking it, because at the same time they use their normal fighting style against Elder Centipede, and they didn't do shit to him, literally. But when they finally took that out, they were able to actually crack and literally make his entire armor explode. It regenerated right after, but still they broke it. Which is pretty freaking amazing. So both of them know that. For sure they don't have the strength of Silverfang and Bomb, but they still have the capacity to use those fighting style. Which means that the two are extremely good at fighting, and they have an extremely great teamwork. Bakugo knows one thing though. If the two were to fight one against the other, Deku would be able to use both practically at the same time by himself. Not being able to do wild wind, water, stream, you get the point. Basically, he would not be able to do that because you need actually 2 or more people to do it. But he would be able to do pretty good damage to anyone. He's not yet on the strength of, let's say, All Might, but Bakugo has a huge, and I mean huge, amount of strength in him. He is not the one, though, that's going to get One for All. That's actually going to be Shoto. Basically, it's just like at some point, All Might met Shoto. Something basically happened, and from the point of view of All Might, what Shoto had done was just try to protect someone else. But in reality, he just reacted on instinct to protect himself at first. He still wants to be a hero though, but basically what happened was that he thought he was in danger, protected himself and someone else, and All Might asked him if he wanted that. Which Shoto took just to make his dad angry that, oh, I'm stronger than you already, basically. So Shoto, having already had a lot of strength, basically trained with All Might for a while. All Might gave him One for All. He almost broke his arm on the first utilization. Well, no, actually, he literally broke it. But basically, they went. Well, All Might called it Recovery Girl, since they know each other, so she healed him. And then they went to look for. Well, actually, they went to Gran Torino. Gran Torino taught him to basically put it on his entire body, and then to, as well as to make percentage. And that's basically the end of his training. Now let's go back to Deku and Shoto and Bakugo. For them, basically they were called the 2 strongest in their school, because literally Deku has the strength of a hero without even having a quirk, which pretty much anyone that was hearing that was like, nah man, you're joking with me. With everyone else basically just saying, no, I'm not. This kid doesn't have a quirk and is on the level of a pro hero. He even made his own martial arts, and another kid with him actually was able to create his own thanks to him. Basically, they still have the name Deku for him that was given, but now nobody actually tries to use it except Bakugo. So Bakugo gets called Kachan by Deku, and Deku gets called Bakugo by Deku gets called Deku by Bakugo. So basically they're the only ones that kind of use those names. Um, Bakugo isn't mad at Deku for using it, because, well, big. If he wanted to, he could kill me, so yeah, he can use it. So, on the day where All Might meets Deku, first thing that happens in the morning is the teacher asking, "What do you want to do when you later in life?" Throwing the paper and saying everyone wants to be a hero. When he said that Deku wanted to be one, nobody laughed because, nah, you don't laugh at this guy. Unless you want to die, but I don't think you want to, so you let him be. So later well, he did get in the fight with the sludge villain because he passed by the same place. Only difference is that the sludge villain didn't really have anything that he could do that much. Like, okay, yeah, he could have grabbed onto Deku and blah blah blah, but Deku using uh, Water Stream or Whirlwind Fist, Water Fist or Whirlwind Fist, basically, I don't care which one, was basically just pushing the sludge villain away until All Might arrived. All Might saw Deku fighting, that's before he gave his quirk away. Well, before he gave One for All away. Basically, punched the air, knocked out the sludge villain. Asked Deku what he did, well, what he was doing. Deku said I was using my martial arts. All Might asked him what his quirk was, which Deku said he was quirkless, but would become a great hero anyway, which All Might just said, I think you can, but are you sure you don't have a quirk? Which Deku just says that, well, every quirk doctor basically says that he doesn't have one, even though he has the capacity to mimic any fighting style after a single time he saw it. He seemed to regenerate faster, basically for now it wasn't that much. He said that after a while of fighting against his friend Bakugo, then says he has an exploding quirk. I'm pretty sure I'm almost immune to fire. Both me and him can break rock with our fists. We never tried for metal, but I think that would be overkill. Which All Might basically asked him what he meant by breaking rock with their fists. Which Deku then explained that with their martial arts, two in particular, their strength, well, by using their strength and the weight and a specific type of movements, they are basically able to break through practically anything. And when both of them use them at once, they're a force of nature. All Might goes to ask him if he wants to be more powerful. Well, actually ask him. Deku ask him what he means by that. Which All Might says, if I could give you a quirk, what would you say? With Deku just saying, I would say no. Baffling All Might for a while. Basically asking him why. You want to be one of the greatest heroes, right? With Deku telling him, yes, but I can't do that by myself. I've trained my entire life to be this strong. I even proved to my friend Bakugo that being quirkless doesn't mean you can't be a hero. So, just before All Might go to say that he should still try to get, well, that he should still take the quirk, he realized that, oh no, my time limit. And basically just kind of says, fine, kid. Well, hope you're still able to become a great hero. And just jumps away. Deku doesn't really take notice that All Might seemed to have just left in a hurry, even though he was about to, well, he was looking like he was about to replicate. So, Deku basically just kind of went with his day. About 2 weeks later, he met, All Might met Shoto, and everything happened. During that time, Deku and Bakugo basically decided to train separately for the last 10 months. Basically to try and surprise the other one with what they did. During that time, this is when Deku basically tries to learn different the fighting style of different heroes. Learning to use, well, let's say a hero that's able to move like an animal, basically using kind of the same fighting style as Watchdog Men. Basically doing that, just a lot less powerful, which means that the fighting style isn't as strong. Like, the hero himself isn't even as strong as Deku. So Deku using it is basically even stronger than the guy. And he basically learned to use it fully. He also tried to just increase his strength to use the same moves as All Might. Spoiler, it didn't really work, because, the way all for one works. One for all works for him. For All Might to basically be able to use that power. So Deku cannot do that, but still he tried. So he increased his strength massively to try and do that. So it wasn't a loss. Bakugo, during that time, basically tried to augment his martial arts by trying to create one where he would use his quirk at the same time. Basically trying to modify a bit his whirlwind fist to basically use his explosions at the same time. Making it a lot more powerful and a lot more dangerous, both for himself or for an enemy. And now we stop right before the entrance exam. This Deku will end up extremely powerful. One last thing I want to say is that Shoto is about capable of using 13%, with basically he uses that and doesn't boost it to go fast further. So he doesn't have 20%. He does have full calling and his flames are a lot more powerful. Not yet on the level of his dad, but pretty freaking close. Simply because All Might kind of forced him to use his flames. Basically, he forced him to use them by saying, if you don't use your flames, I'm not giving you one for all. Which forced Shoto's hand. Later, Shoto kind of started to like using his flames. And All Might basically taught him that if he wants to replicate against his father, just become a person that is better than him. And prove to him that he was wrong. And basically he used his flames. So, hope you liked it. Leave a like if you did. If you have any questions about this what if or any others, just ask me in the comment section. I'm going to see if, what I can do to answer. So now, so if you have, so I'm going to leave a link to my Discord in the comment section. Hope you liked it. Natsu out. Yeah, sorry, my mind just kind of went blank for a second. So yeah, Natsu out.